Hey students, today we're going to start talking about anatomy. The name of the course is Anatomy and Physiology, and so anatomy is the study of the structure and shape of the human body, while physiology is the study of how the different parts work or their function. So we're going to cover both the structure and function of many parts of the human body. The levels of study of anatomy are kind of broken up into gross anatomy, which allows you to look at large structures. They're easily observable and you don't need a microscope. Examples of structures you'd look at in gross anatomy are like the mouth or the tongue, the esophagus, the liver. All of those structures are large enough that you can see them without a microscope. We can contrast that with microscopic anatomy. Microscopic anatomy are structures that cannot be seen with the naked eye, and so they must be seen through a microscope. Examples would be very small structures, like in the stomach, you have gastric pits that are made up of a variety of different cell types. And if you zoom in even more, you can see those different cell types have different structures externally and internally. Inside the cells you can see nuclei, mitochondria, vesicles, and things like that. Next, we're going to talk about the different levels of organization that you find in the human body. So we'll start with the first level of organization. That's organization at the chemical level. This is where we have atoms as the building blocks of the smallest parts of the human body, which are indeed molecules. So a molecule is a group of atoms that has a specific function, and all of the parts of the body are indeed made of molecules. When you have a group of molecules, you can use those to make up a cell, so that's organization at the cellular level. An example here is a smooth muscle cell. Like the external part of the cell is made up of phospholipids, and then internally there's a lot of structures that are called filaments that are made of protein. Both lipids and proteins plus some other organic molecules are the major molecules that make up the human body. If you have a group of cells that all have the same function, those are called organization at the tissue level. So this example is smooth muscle. Smooth muscle is a type of tissue that you'd find in the walls of lots of organs, like blood vessels and your stomach wall and your bladder and things like that. If you have several types of tissues that work together, then you have organization at the organ level. And so this example is a blood vessel. Blood vessels have an epithelial tissue layer, a smooth muscle tissue layer, and a connective tissue layer at the least. And so those different layers work together to allow the body to deliver blood to different areas. At the organ system level, you have multiple organs that work together towards a common end. So for example, this is the cardiovascular system where you have the heart, and then it works together with blood vessels like veins and arteries, and it allows you to move nutrients to and from your cells. If you have many organ systems working together, now we have the organismal level. So you've got several different systems that all carry out different life functions, and when you put them all together, you can have an organism such as a human. All right, now we can move on to go over some of the different organ systems. So we'll start with the integumentary system. The integumentary system forms the external body covering. So oftentimes we refer to this as skin. It protects deeper tissues from injury, helps to regulate body temperature, and also is the location of cutaneous nerve receptors. Skin is also important for things like synthesizing DNA, and then you have lots of different receptors in your skin that allow you to touch things, feel temperature. They allow your body to regulate temperature by sweating. There's oil glands to keep your skin conditioned. So your skin is a fairly important part of your body. The next system is your skeletal system. The skeletal system protects and supports body organs. It also provides muscle attachments for movement. So without muscles, your bones could not move. So those two systems work together for locomotion. It's also the site of blood cell formation. Another name for that is hematopoiesis. And it also stores minerals like calcium. So here you can see the skeletal system. It's a structure of bones that are subcutaneous, right? You have an endoskeleton that's inside of most of your tissues. If you were an insect, you'd have an exoskeleton that was a body covering on the outside of your body. And your body, or your skeleton does provide some protection. Inside of your thoracic cavity, for example, you have your heart and your lungs, and organs like your bowels and reproductive organs sit inside of your pelvis where they're protected. Your muscular system is really important because it allows you to move in conjunction with your skeletal system. It also helps you to maintain posture so that you're not just a puddle of protein on the floor, and it also produces heat, which helps you maintain a constant body temperature. So your muscular system is made up of lots of muscles. There's little muscles in your face that help you to speak and things like that, and then you have big muscles like your deltoids or your pecs or your quadriceps that help you to move. And then your muscles are also integral in producing heat, which is why you're able to maintain a constant body temperature, unlike if you were a reptile or something where you are an ectotherm, where you're a little more dependent on the external environment for your body temperature. The next system is the nervous system. So the nervous system is essentially an electrical system that is a fast-acting control system. It helps you to respond to both internal and external changes or stimuli, and it activates muscles and glands in response to that stimuli. So it might activate you to move, and that's muscles, or it might activate glands that send a chemical signal in your body. The major organs in your nervous system are your brain, your spinal cord, and then you've got a whole bunch of different nerves and nerve endings that are in your skin, on your hands, feet, all over your body. So the nervous system is able to detect stimuli both internally and externally and then activate a response. If your nervous system activates a chemical response, it activates the endocrine system. So the endocrine system sends chemical signals in the form of hormones. The nervous system sends electrical impulses through your nerves. The endocrine system has direct impact on things like growth, reproduction, and metabolism by acting on the organs from those systems and causing a response. The endocrine system is made up of a bunch of different glands. Some of them are found in your brain, like the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. There's some that sit on top of your trachea, like the thyroid gland and parathyroid. You have adrenal glands that sit on top of your kidneys, and they all produce chemicals that act on your cells to produce a response in your body. Next, we'll talk about the cardiovascular system. So the cardiovascular system is made up of the heart and blood vessels, and its job is to move things through your body, and it moves things like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, and waste. Carbon dioxide and wastes are usually removed from your body, and they can go to your lungs or your kidneys for that. Oxygen and nutrients are usually delivered to your cells, and they're collected at the lungs or through your digestive system. So in the diagram, you can see the heart is the pump for this system, and it allows you to take things out to your body via arteries that are represented in red, or return things to the heart through your blood vessels, through the blue vessels in this diagram, and those are called veins. The lymphatic system helps your blood vessels a little bit by returning fluid to your blood vessels. When fluid leaks out of your blood vessels and pools in areas, that's called edema, and the lymph system allows you to return that fluid to your blood vessels. It also helps us to cleanse the blood and is involved in immunity. The lymph system is made up of lymphatic vessels that move fluid through your body and lymph nodes that house immune cells. And so the lymph vessels return liquid to your heart that has leached out of your blood vessels, and the lymph nodes house immune cells. The respiratory system has the job of keeping your body supplied with oxygen. So blood vessels visit your lungs to collect oxygen, which is needed during cellular respiration in all of your cells, and then its job is to remove carbon dioxide that's delivered by the cardiovascular system because that is a waste product. Your respiratory system is located mostly in your thoracic cavity. So you have lungs there, you have your trachea, and then you can take in air either through your nose or through your mouth. The digestive system is the system that your body uses to break down food. So you're able to ingest things like proteins and carbohydrates and lipids, and then the digestive system can break those down, and then it absorbs the nutrients into the blood. The other thing the digestive system does is eliminate indigestible material as feces. So anything that your body does not have enzymes for digesting is removed. The digestive system is essentially a tube that goes all the way through your body. So it starts in the oral cavity, and then food travels through the esophagus to your stomach, where digestion begins. Digestion continues during the small intestine. The other thing the small intestine does is absorb nutrients. And then the large intestine is where water is collected and feces are formed, and then they can be eliminated from the body. The digestive system was responsible for eliminating solid waste. The urinary system is eliminating nitrogenous waste. So nitrogenous wastes are all generated by your cells. Your urinary system also helps to maintain an acid-base balance in your blood and regulate water and electrolytes. The urinary system is made up of the kidneys, and then there's tubes called the ureters that travel to the bladder. The bladder is where urine is stored before you get rid of it, and the urethra is the tube that takes urine out of the body. And that is all nitrogenous waste, so the kidneys filter the blood and they pull out nitrogenous waste, and then you can eliminate it. And the last system we're going to talk about, which is the last system that we need to study, is the reproductive system. And this is the system that produces offspring. So testes produce sperm and male hormone. And then in females, ovaries produce eggs and female hormones. And the sperm and the egg cells are both reproductive cells. If you join a sperm cell with an egg cell, you can form a zygote, which has the potential to develop into a fetus and then a baby. So in males, the testes are the endocrine organ and reproductive organ for men. They produce sperm cells and male hormones. In females, the ovaries have a similar function. They produce female hormones and they generate egg cells. So both of those organs have multiple functions that are important for reproduction.